welcome. This episode was amazing. It was with my good friend Danny. If this episode is as good to watch as it was to record, I think it's going to be really good. Enjoy. And here we are. So Danny, tell us a bit about yourself.
So Tom, I'm the head coach at Greystone Action Sports. I'm a skateboarder. Been skateboarding for roughly about 15 years now. So yeah, that's pretty much me. You know?
Okay. So how did you get started skating, and what age were you?
So I was around about 14 years old. Actually, so that'd make it 16 years now that I've been skating. I was about 14 years old, and what made me start skateboarding? I think someone on my street where I lived. I can remember this guy just like trying to try this trick and not doing very well, and it just appealed to me, man. I think as well, like, you know, there's like this blurred time where I also got this board from a car boot, and I was a bit hesitant to try it because no one else at that time in my school or on my street was skateboarding, so it was quite unusual to try it out. And I remember like seeing this guy trying a skateboard, and then I got my skateboard out and then tried it myself. And I'm telling you, like, I say in trying to skateboard, this is me like on a downhill street trying to pull myself along the railings and failing again. I took some brutal slams because I didn't understand the concept of leaning forwards.
Yeah.
Whilst going forward. So yeah, and that kind of like that gave me the drive, you know, because it was not easy. It was like I was falling. I enjoyed the fact that I was falling, and it just made me keep on going.
Yeah. So out of your 16 years, where's been your favourite place to ride?
So whoa, say that again.
So out of your 16 years riding, where's been your favourite place to ride?
Is it my favourite location?
Yeah, your favourite place to go ride.
Oh, well, honourable mention would be, I mean, it's hard to pick and choose because if I didn't say Greystone,
Yeah.
you know, like, that would be also a little bit of a lie because I do love riding there because I love working there. I'm in a very fortunate position in my life to have a skate park as my occupation, so that is amazing. But an honourable mention would be a place called Bournes Bolton when I was growing up. That was a skate park that we would go to nearly every weekend. And unfortunately, it's not there anymore. The guys who used to run it now have the skate shops in Manchester. So, I mean, like that was an amazing place, an amazing vibe, you know. It was like I'd say a huge warehouse, but it had these like really like local vibes to it, and but also really welcoming. So that was pretty sick then. And that was when I was just getting into skateboarding. What I mean by getting into skateboarding is like I weren't just dragging myself down a street and trying to stay on the board. Like I was at a point where I was trying tricks for the first time, trying handrails for the first time. So like that place will always stay in mind because exciting things happened around that point where it was the first time I was landing kick flips, board slides, you know, ramp tricks for the first ever time. Where usually like throughout the week I was just mucking around on the streets. Like I'm mainly a street skater myself, Tom. So like I usually just stick to like crummy ledges and rough stair sets. That's what I grew up doing. So like going to a skate park was a big reward because I also didn't have that much money growing up, and it was pretty far away. So that's why it stays in my mind because it was so important to me.
Yeah. So talking about skate parks, this is a question I asked Rob. It's the UK indoor skate park tier list. So I have a couple of skate parks lined up. I'll tell you the skate
tier
park.
List?
Yeah, tier list. I'll tell you the skate park, and then you tell me where you rate it.
Are you going to explain the tier list?
Essentially, I say a park, you talk about your experiences there and rate it out of 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet.
So first up, we've already talked about it, Greystone.
Greystone. That is a top tier skate park.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the sense of like, oh, you know what? It is a top tier skate park, and the reason being is that it sets a standard.
Yeah.
I believe, and obviously this is a biased approach working at Greystone, but the level of like, how well we look after it, and
yeah,
how well kept it is, and even the way it's decorated, and the fact that you've got a restaurant above a skate park. Like, it's not an ordinary skate park cafe. It's an actual restaurant, and when we do actually sell amazing food that has, at sometimes drained my pockets because I love the food myself as well.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah. So it's pretty high up there. I'd probably say an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would, because the skate park's pretty sick. It's not like the biggest skate park I've ever been to, but it has got a variety, and I think that's important. And we also welcome everyone. I mean, I was pretty hesitant to that at first, like when I first started working there, because I came from a skate park that was heavy skateboarders, and you kind of then hate on everyone else because you're just a skateboarder.
Yeah.
But when I moved to Greystone, like many of my friends now ride totally different equipment, and I have a much more open mind. And I feel like that's because of Greystone, and that's what it's done. And hopefully that's what it has an effect on terms of like the customers as well that we bring in, that they also open the mind that if someone's putting their efforts into something that they love doing, how can we not appreciate them as well? So I feel like that's what the community achieves there as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want me to be brutally honest, I can also say why it's not a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Or not even. I mean, that's why I said 8 or 9, because I feel like it's still in a level where, I'm not going to say it's expensive, but like for the locals around there, it is expensive because not everyone has tenner or £15 to skate all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like we miss out on a few people. We do, like, and I'm talking from a biased way, and obviously I work there, so I understand a little bit more about that park than anywhere else. But we do bring in like loads of like out of school kids and everything like that. But I always wish we could like bring in more people and have like more. But it's hard. It's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's got to balance out somehow. But I'm sure we are tackling that situation. So.
Yeah, I think
that's what make it a 10 out of 10. That it was accessible to more people.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I think one of the best things about Greystone is the fact of, even though it's not the biggest skate park, there's quite a bit of variety, from the mega ramp to the street bowl to the skater bowl to DIY, and then even into the gymnastics area. It's all that variety into one big place, which is quite cool. And I think that is probably a bit more of a reason as well why it is a bit more expensive compared to other parks, because there is such a variety of different things. When you go in, you're not just paying for the one bowl to skate, you're paying for the entire place, because you can access the gymnastics, you can access the mega ramp. But I think it's definitely got to be up there as one of the best skate parks in the UK.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it sets itself above and beyond because there's nothing like it in the UK. And from what I've noticed, other people have tried to copy us.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's a few places now that are trying to put more like variety into their skate parks, and I don't know if it's because we kind of suggested the idea that it works so well. Like you'll get someone from gymnastics want to try skateboarding, skateboarders want to try the trampolines, etc. So there's like this crossover of communities that weren't happening before. And even like, I'm talking about accessibility, like to make it a 10 out of 10. I mean, to me, it is a 10 out of 10, but I'm talking about a very realistic approach. But then again, like if you look at like even for your community, Thomas, like straight away, like when we tried to put on the WCMX competition where we had stairs, we completely destroyed them in a couple of weeks and built a ramp so you could all access the skate park. So, I mean, that was a pretty proud moment for us.
I think definitely the accessibility at Greystone is the best I've seen at pretty much any skate park. There's an elevator up into the restaurant, and then once you go through, massive ramp into the skate park, and then the rest of the skate park as a whole is fairly accessible. If I was going to say there's only like one thing that's really not accessible, that's the bowl, because obviously once you go in the bowl, you've got to get out.
Yeah, that's it.
Compared to obviously a park like Projects that doesn't have a bowl, that wouldn't be a problem you would have at Projects. But I think just with how good Greystone is, you're willing to kind of overlook the fact that it is a bit more awkward with a bowl.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, if you want the great skate park, you pay the price of a bowl.
I mean, in terms of, I could understand that, you know, like from what you're saying, from your point of view, I bet that ball is extremely difficult to get back out of. But I mean, in terms of the design of the skate park, like some of the angles and some of the obstacles you can hit, it's got this beautiful flow to it. That you don't often get. Like even the street section sits in like a dish type scenario, so you can go at anything from any angle. So that's really nice to have. But I mean, it's Greystone. You know, you can see I weren't going to join this call without representing already. I'm a big fan, as it goes.
So we're rating that, what would you say, an 8 or a 9?
Because of what we've discussed, I did start off as an 8, but I forgot about how diverse. I can't believe I forgot, but you know, I'm not there every day at the moment, and when it all clogs back in my memory, it is diverse and there is a wide variety, and we adapt and we learn, and we have made it accessible for more and more people, including, you know, different communities and more communities. So I'd probably say I don't always like to be generous, but I'm going to say a 9.
Yeah. Okay, amazing.
It is kind of generous though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, with knowing that, I wonder what you'll rate the next park, Adrenaline Alley. It's the biggest in Europe, I believe.
It is the biggest in Europe, I believe, and it is supposedly absolutely huge. Unfortunately, I've never been. I do really want to go, and I've done a little bit of research on it. I'm going to say straight off the bat, the park looks absolutely stunning, and it's had a lot of funding to build some great obstacles, like the new rhythm section from the British Cycling, and that looks absolutely stunning. The street section looks great to skate. It's got a few different obstacles in there, like stair sets and rails, and that look great to skate. And it's absolutely huge, and you probably get lost in there.
What do you think about like the content coming out? Because obviously from Greystone, every bit of like media content and stuff like that comes out of Greystone, it all looks the same. It's all under the Greystone brand. What do you think?
Efficient, right?
Do you think Adrenaline Alley are on the same page?
And this is where I probably and you know, bringing an Adrenaline Alley up after we've talked about Greystone, I start to reflect on other things as well. You know, I've not seen much in terms of like my role at Greystone is to develop the coaching at Greystone, and the coaching at Greystone basically makes all these sports accessible to anyone, no matter what skill you are, no matter what age you are, you know, and all these other different traits, right? It doesn't matter. All these sports should be accessible to you, or anyone, right? And then we also love promoting that, right? That's what you'll see on our social medias. And we're also working on some exciting stuff at the moment to progress it even further. And not just Adrenaline Alley, because I don't want to like drop them in it right now, but not a lot of skate parks are ahead of the game like that. And I feel like there's a lot of catching up to do. There is some skate parks around the country, and you might talk about the other skate park in Manchester, but you know they're a leading example of coaching as well. That'd be projects like.
Yeah.
I feel like more skate parks need to get on board with that, and definitely we've got a facility as huge as Adrenaline Alley, but you're not making it accessible to everyone. They give a very elite vibe to me, and that makes me also not feel like going as much. Am I going to go? Am I going to feel intimidated? Even as myself, I've been skating 16 years, but you still feel intimidated if the vibes are a little bit off. So I do worry about stuff like that, as well as social media. You just don't see much going on, do you? It's not very exciting. I follow quite a few social media, like skate parks, and also like independent coaching teams, and there's a lot more exciting stuff going on, and I feel like there's definitely some potential there that they're not catching up with.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. If I was to say anything about Adrenaline Alley, one thing is, I'll be honest with you, I saw a couple posts over lockdown. I don't know if you saw them, but they were saying Adrenaline Alley's going to have to close over the first lockdown. So they were getting donations in for money because they couldn't make any. And
is this like skate park politics now, Tom?
Yeah, mate, I'm coming in, boys. I'm
right. Okay, you can do that. I'm gonna try and be polite as possible about this.
I'm just gonna say they were asking for donations over lockdown.
Yes. I heard about this.
We're gonna shut down. Really sad. A lot of people donated, and then after lockdown, like a month later, here's our new big, massive, really cool skate park. Wow, guys! It's like, so last week you had no money, and now you've built this amazing new skate park.
I mean,
the only thing I thought was a bit sus.
I feel like, obviously that sounds really eerie, doesn't it? It sounds a bit suspicious. I'd say from my point of view, it doesn't matter how big your skate park is. If you're not doing the right stuff, the right people ain't coming. Like, you can have a small skate park, but have an amazing crew, an amazing team, and doing the right things. And the right things would be looking after the communities, right, that come in the door.
Yeah.
And making sure that everyone feels like, I'll say it again, like welcome, and everyone feels like, I mean, for me, like, it's all about making people feel like family when they come in, and they feel like they want to come back, and they enjoy skating with you or enjoy riding with you, whatever it is, you know. You can have the smallest skate park in the world. It can be a bedroom size, you know, or whatever it is, you know, like it can be tiny. It can be just a couple of ramps. But if you've got that, I feel like it's really important. So the unfortunate situation there is that you know, I feel like if you're going to receive donations from loads of people, it's what do you do with those donations? How do you spend your money to make sure that you then, you know, appreciating those people that come through the door? And if they've not done that, they've not done that. They've shot themselves in the foot. But, you know, if we do see a turnaround and they do use those donations or some of their own pocket money, like, to do something incredible, like, you can't fault them. But till then, like, it's, for me, like, it's no biggie. Like, all I need to concentrate on and is making sure that what I do is right, or what me, you know, the team at Greystone, that we are doing the right approach, like walking the right approach, or something like that. Trying our best. So yeah. I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
If there's some suspicion there or whatever it is, and it's a big skate park, and it's a good looking skate park.
Yeah.
And they have also like they have the backing of like British cycling.
Yeah.
And
The
you know
Olympic team, aren't they? Because the Olympic.
yeah,
they're training there.
That's it. So that's absolutely incredible. I mean, that's a great reason to say to everyone, let's try and train you to become an Olympic being like rider, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But let's start. That's what I mean. That's what we're trying. You know, at Greystone is like saying, this is the place to start. Like these are the people that are already there. Let's try and get you there as well.
Yeah.
I think that's like, or if you don't want to, just come in and have a laugh and try some new skills, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I feel like they're missing the point there, aren't they? Because that's a great thing to try and. I mean, that's my point of view though. And the more people do that around the country, I think it's only beneficial for all these communities.
Yeah, of course.
Adrenaline Alley did. Am I right by saying they hosted the first WCMX competition?
It wasn't the.
That's an amazing thing.
It was the first UK Jam.
Right.
Yeah, they hosted the first one. It was in 2019. I missed out really because I only found about it after it happened, which was really annoying. So I never got to ride. And obviously the one for 2020 that was going to be at Greystone ended up getting cancelled.
Yeah, no.
They held the first one at Adrenaline Alley, and that was big. Because they're in quite a good spot in Corby, I think. The only thing about Corby is I don't think there's lots of hotels and things, but it's in a fairly good spot, like, in terms of people are coming from far and wide. By far and wide, I mean mainly from Wales, which is surprising, but,
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So what, did you get into WCMX last January? Is that when you started?
Yeah, I started last January. I found out about it, when I was on holiday in Christmas in 2019.
Sick. So what made you? Because this is new to me, and I don't think I've ever asked you, but because you asked me how I got into skateboarding.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to get started?
Well, I already knew about WCMX. I'd heard about Aaron, and I'd seen him on Nitro Circus. I just thought, American. And then I found out, oh wait, it's an actual sport. And oh wait, people do it here in the UK. Oh shit. And then when I got home, I did quite a lot of research. And the first thing I think we did was my mum emailed Greystone and said, do you guys do WCMX? And you guys were like, yeah, of course. And then and then we got an email back a couple of weeks later that Lily Rice, the female world champion who's from Wales, was going to Greystone to film the BBC documentary that's out now.
Yeah.
Defying Gravity, go watch it, it's quite good. So
wow.
I was there when they were filming. I arrived just before her, and they all walked up with the massive camera crew, and that was the first time I ever rode, and I invited a friend to come along, and they let me borrow a chair for the first time, because at the time I still had my original NHS chair, and it was terrible. So I borrowed someone else's chair, gave it a go, and as soon as I got down and I went into that bowl, I was like, yeah, this is the sport for me. And then we got back home, and I did every bit of research I could on figuring out like how the chairs work, what you need for them, what equipment you need for starting WCMX, and all things like that. And when I was doing that research, I always thought, oh, I wish there was a channel that made videos on stuff like this. So instead of having to do all of this research, I could just watch one 10-minute video. And then with my personal channel, that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I've made videos like how to start WCMX and what you need and stuff. But yeah, no, I started riding in January of 2020, and yeah, it's.
Have you been able to ride at all recently, or
no?
Has it been pretty?
Just before a bit before Christmas, I rode at Greystone, and then I was gonna ride on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or something. But Rob, who I usually ride with, was up in Scotland, so I didn't go. And then by the time we got back on the 6th or the 5th, we were supposed to be filming my Germany run.
Okay.
And obviously lockdown happened and never did.
So what's that like then? Because I could tell you from my experience, and I've only ever spent a couple of months off from injuries at a time. But if I'm well and healthy and I don't skate for a week, I am moody.
Oh yeah.
It's so beneficial for me. Like it keeps me sane, it keeps me focused, it keeps me happy. How you?
Not only is it the physical aspects of being fit and stuff, but it's mental health as well. I totally agree. If I'm not riding, I get a bit moody more, and definitely I feel like the motivation. So when I was riding a lot last year, every morning, wake up at 8 a.m, brush my teeth, shower, workout. Right, get some work done on the computer, workout, eat, then get to bed. Next morning, do it again, unless it was a Greystone day, in which case, wake up at 8 a.m, don't work out, zoom to Greystone.
And then spend all day there and all night, and that's your workout, yeah.
Yeah, and then because I'm not riding, I don't know, I've just lost all motivation pretty much. No
workout?
No, I've not been working out. I've not been eating very well and but no, definitely. I think not only is it the physical aspect, but the mental as well. And the mental very much affects the physical as well. Which is
yeah,
it's been quite annoying not being able to ride, because I mean we're 2 months into the year and I've still not been able to ride, which is really annoying. And then I see people are still riding, like I've seen quite a few BMXers riding at Adrenaline Alley, and I'm trying to find a loophole to get in, because you have to be like an elite rider, or you have to be on a team that tells that like you have to be able to ride for your team. So I'm thinking,
so it's like class as training.
Yeah, I'm gonna create a team with just myself on it.
Nice. I like it.
That's my loophole idea. No.
Find a loophole.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I feel like that's the one thing that is detrimental through these lockdowns, is for people like yourself. I'm very fortunate that I can still go ride every now and then. It's not very long and it's not very often, but it's just enough. But I feel a little bit like I don't know what the word is, but it's so rubbish for it. I'm trying to be polite here. It's so rubbish for everyone else who can't go out there, because I know how much it means a lot to me anyway, and I can only imagine it means a lot to everyone else, and I'm sure it does. And it's just a bit grim, isn't it? But I hope, for me, I hope everyone's dealing with it very well and still doing as much as they possibly can. But I thought it must be interesting for yourself and people in your community who do need a skate park to kind of have that training in. But just thought I'd ask, because I was very curious.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the more interesting things about WCMX. You can't just go and find a bench somewhere and try and grind it. You can't just go and do something really off a curb other than go, oh, I've gone off it.
Did you see that video recently? And if not, you should check it out. But the Berrics, which is a quite prestigious skate park in LA, have just recently posted a video of a WCMX rider in their skate park. And
I saw that.
Quite a good video, man. Like, I was pretty hyped after I watched it. I wanted to go skate. He was talking about the similar stuff, like if he don't have a week without skating, stresses him out, man. He likes to be with all of his mates and that. He likes to be riding. It's good to hear that from other people.
No, of course.
Anyways, I was ranting on then. I think I went off on a big tangent, so I do apologise.
Back to the tier list. So the
next
tier list, Rampworks. I want to have your opinion on Rampworks. Before you say anything, I will recite the words of Robert Sidlow, who we spoke to the other week. He quote said, "It's like trying to ride in Hollister," and I couldn't agree with him more. It's so dark in Rampworks. That's That's one of the main things that annoys me about Rampworks. Is for filming. It's just so dark.
Okay, so you've only been skating for a year now.
Yeah.
You've been riding WCMX for just since last year. So yeah, it's just come up to a year. Even though we shouldn't technically count some of these months, I don't think. But when I was growing up skateboarding, like that's all skate parks. That's what they all look like. When I was talking about Bones Bolton before, like like the skate park from my past. I mean, it was pretty well lit, but like these places were kind of dingy, and as well as they was looked after, none of them had gone as far as what Greystone has set in terms of a standard. Like, there's been a few places, like I feel like they've evolved through time, and a few places have set the bar a little bit higher. Like for instance, I feel like Projects has set a pretty high bar in terms of some things that they've achieved. But a lot of skate parks have always been dingy, not well lit, not well looked after, holes in the ramps, flooding, I mean, there's some skate parks I've been to, and the condensation was that bad. Like the floor was painted concrete, and you would pretty much aquaplane, like as you flew across the skate park.
Yeah.
And if you turned in the slightest, you're talking about your teeth maybe knocked out on the floor.
Yeah.
And they didn't manage to fix that for a long time. As I was saying, a lot of skate parks when I was growing up weren't the highest of quality.
Yeah.
But the point that we're getting to is that you make the most of what you've got.
Yeah.
I feel like not the issue. It's not an issue, but like there's, and the reason why you've probably asked this question is that there's different tiers of skate parks now. There's different qualities, and some of them have started setting the standards really high, which is an amazing thing. I mean, and then the skate parks that maybe don't have the money or maybe are not interested in that side of it. Maybe more. I mean, I don't know. I've never been Rampworks. I don't know if they're interested in the community, but it's just when other skate parks set the standards a little bit higher, obviously the other ones are not down a tier, aren't they? They washed out in a sense. But I've seen clips from Rampworks. It does look pretty dark, man. They could do some new LED lights, I can tell you that. But I mean, you've been, I imagine.
Yeah, I've been a couple of times.
What are they like? Are they nice people?
Yeah, they're fairly nice people. It gets quite busy, especially on the weekends.
So it's quite popular.
Yeah, it's quite popular. The street section over lockdown 1, they did up. I've not been since they've done it up. But it looks quite nice from what I can see online. The main...
Oh, they've refreshed it, have they? Refurbished it?
Yeah, just the street section they've redone.
Cool, man. See, that's all you could want. I mean, yeah, I feel like now, like, and obviously as we progress and the sports are progressing, aren't they? So, hopefully a lot of these skate parks as well, with maybe some funding, which will come maybe with the Olympic skateboarding as well. And the Olympic BMX freestyle. Maybe more skate parks will get funding to refurbish, refresh, because till now no one has really paid attention to these sports, and I feel they have, but just not as much as they will do in the following years. And I feel like we're going to have much more accessible skate parks throughout the country, but at the moment some of them are just unkept. I mean, talk about keeping standards, like at Greystone, we make sure that skate park is clean as often as possible. We're always sweeping. We've always got we've always got supervisors in the skate park, making sure everyone's looked after. I've never been anywhere else, and if I was a customer there, I've never been anywhere else where they do that. They just let you go in. As soon as they open the door to you and you've signed the waiver and you've walked in, that's it. They leave you to do your own thing. They're not teaching people the skate park etiquette. They're not looking after everyone. Yeah, man. Again, like, I don't mean to like be biased, but there's standards that have been set now that once you've been to places like Greystone or maybe it's Mount Hawk, they work on some amazing stuff as well in Cornwall. Like once you've been to places like that, you're kind of like, well, why isn't everyone else catching up?
Yeah,
why aren't they doing the same thing? This is the right way of doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. As long as they've got nice people in there and everything, that's all good with me.
So out of 10,
I'll give them a 6 because light is important.
I agree. I think because you need to see where you're going.
Right, maybe I'm going to give it a 6 because if they've got nice people there, then that's all that matters to me. But you do need to see where you're going.
Yeah.
Also, crowded isn't good in this environment.
No.
They need to max the capacity at the minute. Well, they've probably got no capacity at the minute, so
yeah. I know.
They do open again.
I can't be too thingy on the ramps about Rampworks because last time I was at Rampworks, the biggest thing I could do, because it was when I just started, it was like, oh, go down ramp, that's fun. It wasn't like tricks or anything. So I can't speak too much, but it was pretty good. Yeah, I did quite cool things there. No,
got some good variety.
Yeah, there's pretty good variety from the pump tracks they have to the street section. I know they've done that up, so I don't know anymore.
Like most skate parks, I've heard like most of their clientele are like their more customers are like scooter riders, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's most skate parks at the minute, but
we were talking about how skate parks, some are dingy, some aren't. I think we're getting into that age where I think if you're coming into riding today, the skate parks that are here now, we are so lucky, the newer riders of today, to see what we have. And I think it's going to grow like football stadiums. When football was a young sport, they were, what were they? They were bits of wood on a field.
That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah, obviously. But it was bits of wood on a field. And as the sports grew, you now have these amazing, massive stadiums of today that fit thousands of people and don't collapse.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly where skate parks like Greystone projects are going. I think, it's only up from here, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we won't go that far. I mean, I wouldn't mind like a 17 million pound contract a year if that's where skateboarding's going. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to get a lot more presentable, a lot more community based.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna be a lot more inviting to a much wider audience. I don't know if the comparison to football is the same. I feel like it is definitely gonna. Like at the minute we're at a tipping point where it's as soon as we reach that tipping point and the Olympics kind of showcase to the world how amazing these sports are. From my point of view, like skateboarding, and as a community, like it's a really positive community. I feel like people will absorb themselves to that and nourish that, I believe. So whatever happens, we just got to also, because I feel like as well, football misses out on a lot of things, and skateboarding and these other communities do not. I mean, sorry to any football fans, but like skateboarding's never had to like advertise stop racism, like just to like they don't have to say that. They don't.
Skateboarding really faces.
Yeah, I mean, like we're just a multicultural, multi-societal kind of thing, right? All these communities are. It doesn't matter who you are. We communicate over this passion that we've got, and if you're passionate about whatever it is, scooter riding, BMXing, it's still one of those sports where like the the battle is against yourself, not against everyone else. It's not a team sport. It's an independent sport. You just do it with other people. Like you spend time with other people and you learn from other people as well. Yeah. But it's all about your progression, which is really important, I believe, where football doesn't have that. And I feel like skateboarding will always retain that and become. I mean, it's not going to become a multi-millionaire industry, but I do think it's going to become pretty powerful over the next couple of years.
I think it is. It's interesting with what you said then. Skateboarding and other, they've never had to promote stop racism because there isn't really racism in the sport.
I mean,
and if there is, it's the tiniest amount because, nobody really hates on specific types of riders. I mean, other than scooter riders, everybody hates on them.
Yeah.
it's everybody's kind of unified over the fact of they ride.
But scooter riders and maybe one of the only maybe the only one of the skateboarders might be openly minded enough to say this, but from what I've witnessed in the past 2 years of working at Greystone, scooter riders now are at a moment like when I was growing up, skateboarders were hated. Skateboarders are becoming less hated now. I enjoyed skateboarding more because no one else liked it.
Yeah.
Scooter riders are like that. That's who they are. Yeah. Scooter riders are at a moment in time where when I was growing up, skateboarding was like that. No one liked us. But I liked it even more because no one understood what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like skateboarding will still have that meaning for a lot of skateboarders even now and anyone else who is still getting into it. But this skateboarding is becoming more cultural basically. But scooter riders, they're still like pretty subcultural, so subcultured sports, so that's pretty amazing. And I feel like they get a lot of grief, but they're doing their own thing, aren't they? Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
So
I can rant, me man.
It's perfect for a podcast. So the next skate park, Ramp 1.
Oh, Ramp 1.
You and Rob literally
pretty
much had the exact same reaction when I say Ramp 1.
So unlike the other two skate parks you just mentioned after Greystone, I've been Ramp 1. You'd think I would have travelled more, but I like to skate outdoors.
Yeah.
Most of the time before I started working at skate parks, I was more of an outdoor skater. And I've grown out of that now. I've become a lazy skate park skater. But I've been Ramp 1. Ramp 1. When Ramp 1 first opened, oh my God, that was a beautiful skate park. Again, it's built by, the most amazing skate park builders in the UK who have built Adrenaline Alley and they have built Greystone, but they also built Ramp 1. That's 414, right? So it's a well-built skate park, yeah? And the street section, it's got a beginner street section, which I really love. It's so good. You can practice everything there because it's super chilled out and easy, and it'd be amazing for beginner skateboarders or beginner riders. Doesn't matter who you are. And then they've got this rhythm section in the middle, which is still very successful, and every rider from like BMXers love that part, and scooter riders do as well. And then there's the bigger street section, which is pretty sick as well, right? That is a beefy street section, which you can have a lot of fun on. It's a little bit tougher to ride, but you can, have a good time. Good size stair set. Like all these other obstacles that are like, I'm talking about a wide variety in like a street section here, which is unlike anywhere else. Customer service though, that could go straight out the window. You walk in and the staff members don't look like they want to be there. No. I joke about this sometimes, but like, I don't go very often, and that's only because I'm always working, right? But I went there once, and this guy in the cafe, I ordered a hot dog and fries, I mean, this is a skate park cafe, so I don't expect anything more, and I'm okay with that. It's not often you get a restaurant, and I'm okay with like a little bit of fast food, but
Yeah.
for the guy behind the counter to forget because he's that baked that I ordered hot dog and fries that I have to go up half an hour later, and he only just remembered because I brought it back up. Yeah, so and then and then same thing with ramp works. Most of the lights are off. They can't bother changing the lights. It's dark in there sometimes. It's dingy. It shouldn't be dingy. It's a big skate park and it's a good looking skate park. And the last time I went, they could do with a refurbish. A lot of the wood on the ramps are beaten up now. They've not changed a lot of the wood since they first opened, and it's been open for a very long time. Could be maybe going on 8 years, maybe 5 years or something like that. It got to be 8 years or something like that. And a lot of the wood is old, so when you're trying to skate it, it's kind of disgusting to skate.
Yeah.
And you'd want, and I feel like again, they don't have much coaching there or anything like that. They don't have a thing where they don't have that side of it where they can bring in more people and teach them how to get started. You either know or you don't, or you just come and learn yourself, right? Which is fine. That's what all skate parks have usually done. But I feel like they're just missing out on something again. I mean, for me, like I say it as if like I want all these skate parks to catch up to what I'm doing at Greystone or what we're doing at Greystone. Not just me. We are all doing. As a team, like we're trying to make it accessible to everyone else. But the more skate parks that do that across the country makes it more accessible for more skateboarders and more riders, right?
Yeah.
More people can access this amazing community, and I've got to want that.
Yeah, no, I think Greystone's the industry standard of skate parks, and I think people do need to catch up to Greystone because I mean, again,
but not just Greystone. Like projects have an amazing coaching crew, and Mount Hawk have an amazing crew, and there's other places as well around the country. Like there's I think it's maybe Newcastle. There's one called Dynamics. I've chatted to them before, and they do like little circus school in the skate park, and it's a small skate park, but they still like bring in loads of different communities, and I think that's huge, man.
I know.
That's cool.
The cool thing about Greystone is I've witnessed this myself. I've been going around with like Rob, and some guy was trying some BMX trick. To be honest, I can't remember what, and he was struggling with it. And Rob just goes up, and he's teaching him how to do it. You know, there's that amount of community that you don't you don't always have to pay for coaching to get it because people are just there, and because everybody there is just a big community, everybody kind of teaches each other, and I think that is something you don't get at Ramp 1 because Ramp 1 just doesn't have a community.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't think they have a community like Greystone does. Let's put it that way. Another thing.
I feel like from what I've seen is they have a community that go there, like the BMX community go there, and they're all friends already, but they haven't developed their own community, have they?
Yeah.
Because like what you're saying there is like, I mean, like all the coaches at Greystone, the reason why we're such a great team, from what I believe, is that the reason why we're coaches is because we can't help but coach.
Yeah.
So thankfully we get paid for it because we'd probably coach anyway because we just like to help people. We like to not just help them, but like we've been through the struggles of learning all this ourselves. It'd be selfish not to share that knowledge. And I feel like we're all on board with that. You know, like what? Oh, you don't need to struggle. One sec. Let me tell you how I've learned how to do this.
Yeah.
Or let me tell you how you can do this or do that, and it'll benefit how you learn how to do it or whatever. You know, so something along those lines. And we're all just obsessed with that. We're all obsessed with like helping others, and we can't help it. It's an addiction.
No, I think definitely Ramp 1 lacks a couple of things. I've never eaten there, but a friend did get food, and I'll be honest with you, it looked like the microwave was on a bit of a fritz.
Yeah,
and I'll
bro.
be honest, it probably is a microwave. I don't think it's a cooker. And if it is a cooker, I think it's pre-cooked and then they microwave it.
Yeah.
But no, I think in terms of...
I mean, it's fine though, isn't it? Like, you can get food there. You can get food there.
I think as long as
it's the person who gives me the food that... I mean, the last time I went, there was kind of polite, but like a lot of them just cracking on with stuff. And for me, it's what I've seen in the past 2 years of how people can interact with each other. I've set my own standards now. So when I go somewhere else, and it doesn't matter if it's a skate park or it's a, I could be going shopping for some clothes. Like, people are people, right? It doesn't matter if you're the worker or the customer, right? Just talk to each other.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like a lot of places, and if we say skate parks, like definitely Ramp 1 is that, like, they're only bothered about customers coming through the door. The customers do what they want between that time, and the staff members don't have anything to do with them unless they sell them something, right? Well, like at Greystone, we want to get to know who you are. We want to maybe skate with you. We want to, like, find out about our customers and and almost develop, working friendships and want you to come back because we want to skate with you again or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And one thing as well, they've kind of taken out the Greystone handbook. Is they've taken out the mega ramp, and they've fitted a Ninja Warrior area. They've taken out some mini ramps, I believe.
Yeah. I told you we're getting copied, man.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because of how great Greystone is.
Why does it make sense?
Because Greystone's great.
No, but that shouldn't be a reason for other skate parks to change your intentions. So, like, Greystone opened, and its intention was, it was inspired by something along the line of like Camp Woodward in America. And our directors, said, there's nothing like that in the UK. Let's create something like that in the UK. So, like, we can have all these diverse sports. Our most favourite, like, we enjoy running our Camp Greystone, and that's because we get to bring loads of people in and they can try loads of activities through the day. Parents can drop off the kids and send them off and do that. Was always Greystone's intention, right? To have a multi-sport facility, and one of the main parts of the facility was always going to be the skate park. So it was always going to be a multi-sport facility.
Yeah.
More than it is an actual skate park. It's a facility that has a skate park, right?
Yeah.
But Ramp 1 is a skate park, and now it's trying to be a multi-sport facility, and I don't think it works for them. Definitely not to blow up a few bouncy castles and call it a Ninja Warrior area. Like, when your clientele is like teenagers and adults, they don't bring in many kids. I just don't see why you'd want to have a bouncy castle in there, which is only for under sevens, and it takes up that much space. Because for me, it's like building and Ramp 1 did have this, actually, so I'm glad they destroyed it. But Ramp 1 had this big ball, right? It's like a 20-foot ball. And when you drop in, it's hard to get speed from one side or the other. You have to be a really good rider to ride this ball, right? Okay. It's probably 3 times as big as the one that we got at Greystone. That's the ball that they had.
Oh, yeah.
That was 20 foot of wasted space because no one used it. Anytime you spend 50 grand on building a ramp or whatever it is, you want it to be space that's used. And I feel like building bounce castles in there is wasted space.
I love that bounce.
But that's in my opinion, though, and that's probably because I can't use it because it's from the sevens or whatnot. If I could use it, I'd probably be okay with that.
Well, talking about diversifying in different things, I don't know if you've been to this one, Ramp City.
What, is that Blackpool?
Yeah, Blackpool. The indoor one with the roof.
Yeah, I've been there. That's the place that That's the place that was on about with the slippy flooring.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, but I think they changed that now. It's mostly wood. But
Yeah.
before it was wood, it was a concrete painted floor, and you
Yeah.
just go all the way across and
No,
slide.
I've seen
It
that.
was insane.
I've
I think that's why.
I've never rode
But
there,
then,
but I went for a quick
okay,
tour. I think,
yeah,
and the car park ain't great. Like the Greystone's car park's really nice. Like it's the best skate park car park. Like you can't even argue it. It's a well, that's because it is a car park.
yeah, but I find it, yeah, but I find it funny that you're reviewing these places from the car park first. I guess that is your first impression.
It's my
Okay,
first impression.
funny.
I see it and I think, like when I saw Ramp 1.
We're getting a bit of a flower garden now in Greystone, but the secret.
When I first arrived at Ramp 1 for the first time I went
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
I got up, the disabled
bit
space was
confused.
taken, and I went
Yeah,
in, and then I realised why, because the boss, that was his space. And he was like,
yeah, yeah,
"Oh, do
yeah.
you want me to move
I
it?"
always
And I
park
was
there as
like,
well. To be fair,
"Well,
sorry, Tom.
no, it's fine." And the guy's like, "Oh, do you want me to move it?" I was like, "Well, no, I'm in now. We've parked. It's fine." Um,
Yeah, yeah.
it
But isn't the disabled parking space like at the back of the building, or
No,
is it
no,
the
it's at the
front?
front. There's one at the front at
Oh
the
yeah,
building.
yeah. I
Um,
never park there because there's never any space.
no.
Big
Um,
Bentley's always there, right?
and that's an annoying thing. And I can't complain about that at Ramsey because they don't have a car park. It's just an area of gravel, that you can
Yeah,
park on. I wouldn't call that a
yeah.
car
It's
park.
it's it's a creative way of parking, isn't it? You create your own parking space.
Creative way of parking, just crash into everyone.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's an
Have you
annoying
been
thing.
have you been in the skate park?
I've been inside the skate park, but I've not rode it. Another thing
Okay. Why
is
did you go then?
I was talking to the owner about something we were doing. And we'd gone in for a tour because we were chatting about something.
Okay.
Because it's probably one of the closest skate parks where I live, and it was when I was first starting, and it was like
Yeah.
really cheap. So we went in, and he was like, "Oh, come in, and I'll give you a tour," because we were in Blackpool today, for some stuff we were doing, visiting my sister, and
Yeah, yeah. Go on.
we'd gone in, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, because I'd been to Greystone, and I'd been to Projects, and I'd been to Ramp 1, and I thought, oh, this isn't what I expected. I
Yeah, yeah.
expected something similar to Ramp 1, Greystone, Projects, and it wasn't really. It is quite dingy. It is, and there was buckets everywhere. The roof was leaking. When I walked
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
it was
Quite
like
an old warehouse.
it was pitch black. As soon as you opened that door and you walked in, you walked this little hallway. You turn left, you go in. That bit was
Yeah,
pitch.
yeah.
I can't talk about the cafe because I didn't go in it. The ramps.
I didn't know I had one.
Yeah. It's an American style diner, I think.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I can't speak too much on the ramps because I only just like rolled around and then came off while we were chatting. But it was okay. It was nothing like revolutionary. Nothing. Oh, brand new, great.
No, no, it's not revolutionary. I'd say though as well, like Ramp City goes along with, these other skate parks. It's like, I mean, sorry, Ramp City, like, I'd say the same for Ramp One actually, and maybe Ramp Works. All these skate parks that obviously taken
Ramp.
up the name Ramp, which puts them in their own category, I think.
It's
But
a bit uninventive, isn't it? Like we've got Ramp 1, Ramp
yeah, it's
City,
funny
Ramp
how they're very
Works,
similar.
Ramp World
But
in Cardiff.
I feel like these skate parks, they invite you in, right? You pay in to go through the door, and then from there on, it's whatever you make it, and it's up to you whether you make that a good experience or not. And I'm okay with that because if I travel to Ramp City because it is a little bit further away from me, or I travel to Ramp One, I make the most out of that situation.
Yeah.
I make the most out of my skate there, and I'll have a good time because I've gone there with a crew. good people that I love skating with, and that's what makes it a good experience for me. And as a skateboarder, it's an okay skate park to skate. It's not too bad. And if I go meet my mates who live in Blackpool and they happen to be there, I enjoy skating with them as well. So it's less about the skate park, but more about the environment you're skating. But you've got to make that environment yourself. And there's a lot of skate parks that are still like that. And even places like Greystone, that you do the same thing there, that you'd make sure you go riding with people you enjoy riding with, no matter what.
I think
so. I feel like
if Ramp City had one thing up on Greystone, they have a vert ramp.
Yeah. They have
Greystone
a vert
doesn't
ramp.
have a vert ramp. So
it's meant to be a pretty decent vert ramp as well. I've not touched the verts on. It scares the life out of me. But it's meant to be decent, and that is a problem across the UK, is that there's not many vert ramps, and there's a good vert scene. There used to be a good vert scene in Manchester till Beast Ramps closed, which was skate park in Manchester not so long since, and that had a great vert scene, and it's lost now because the deepest thing in Manchester right now is our ball at Greystone, and it's only 8 foot, so it's not that big.
The Zoom meeting's gonna end again. No way.
Yeah,
40 minutes. No way. No.
Send us another link quickly.
We'll do it in just a sec. I'll let you. We'll finish talking about Ramp City, and I'll send you a link before we start House Fans.
Yeah, man.
For conclusion on Ramp City, I'd say it's okay. It's not good. If I was rating it myself, I'd give it a 4. And I'd say, to be honest, that's generous from my perspective.
I'm gonna be pretty generous. I'm gonna give it a 7 because every time I've been there, I did give Ramp 1 I'm gonna give Ramp 1 and Ramp City both a 7, because anytime I travel further than I want to travel, which is not far, so that's Ramp 1 and Ramp City, they probably take just the amount of same time to get there. If I'm traveling that far, I'm gonna make sure I have a good skate.
Yeah, no, of course.
And I know that's on me. But that means that anytime that I've been to these skate parks, even though they might not have any customer service or it might be a little bit dingy or wet, I always make sure I have a good skate.
Yeah.
So I've never been there and not had a good skate. I've never been to any of them and not had a good skate. So that's got to say something, right? I'd probably say 6 for Ramp City and 7 for Ramp 1, because Ramp 1 has a good variety of ramps.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving them an 8 because I'm just not that generous, man.
I think, yeah, Ramp, I agree. I think I fairly agree with Ramp 1. I only have one other thing that I don't like about Ramp 1. Oh, I've just knocked my mic. And it really annoyed me. So last time I went to Ramp 1, they were painting the ceiling, spray painting the ceiling black while we were in there riding.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, because it was spray paint, it looked like there'd been a fire because it was black. And they were spray painting the entire thing black. And
that's not good, because that can be
quite bad.
Spray paint fumes are pretty toxic, aren't they?
Yeah, because
there's no doors to open there.
No. It got my throat that bad that night when I came back. I couldn't eat.
I bet you were as high as anything.
Because I couldn't eat that night because it got on my throat for some reason.
That's nuts,
all of
man.
the fumes from the spray paint.
That is nuts.
So that's a bit very unprofessional, in my opinion.
Anyway,
moving
careless
on
that.
To the moving on to the next skate park, I'd say House of Fans. I've never been to a skate park, but I'd love to go.
House. I've only heard good things and nice people there. Again, it looks like a pretty. It looks like a skate park again that could use a little bit more lighting. But from what I've seen, because I've not been there as well, but I've heard they've got a pretty safe community there, like a community of skateboarders that really care about the skateboarders that come in through the door. And again, like I think that sets the standard, like I think that's what, before you begin whether or not you've got the most presentable skate park in the country, I feel like it's important that your approach to the community is the most important thing first. And from what I've heard is that, they're really caring about the community. So I can't really say anything
I think
more because I don't know much more about them apart from that. But everyone who comes to Greystone and they've been House never said anything bad about House, and that says a lot.
Yeah, I think House of Vans is a great park. I think one
Oh,
cool
is it
thing.
House of Vans?
Yeah, House of Vans.
Oh, I thought you said the house
No,
in
no,
Sheffield.
no, I'm talking about House of Vans.
House of Vans. Okay, let's start again. House of
Okay.
Vans. Ooh. Again, I don't know why I've never been because I've been in London quite a few times. House of Vans. I have no idea about House of Vans. I know that it looks like a little skate, like it's a little six skate park, and looks amazing to skate. And I know a few people that go there, skate there. But I don't know what they do. I don't know. I know they have like gigs. Well, they used to have gigs, and they've thrown like loads of different types of events down there. I think that's because they've got the name Vans attached to them, which is going to give them a wide variety of things to be able to do there. It seems like an exciting place to go though, which I think, and the quality of the concrete and the ramps that are built there and the space that they've got is quite amazing.
Yeah.
But I can't say much again. I'm not a well-travelled person by the sounds of this conversation. Been to a lot of outdoor skate parks. I will point that out to the audience members that watch this. I've been places, just not many indoor skate parks.
Yeah. I think one of the cool things about House of Vans, I mean, it's a bit gimmicky. It's under a train station, and it is quite small.
Yeah, okay.
But it's got a community around it, and because it is Vans and it's got the name, they support themselves with the Vans name essentially by the fact of you don't have to pay to go in; it's free, which is really nice.
They also do like little coaching sessions on the weekend mornings as well. And again, I'll keep going back to that because I feel like that, is what most skate parks should be doing. And I'm pretty sure they deliver those sessions for a great price as well, which is amazing. And so again, got to commend them for stuff like that because it really develops the community and grows skateboarding, and it makes the place more exciting as well, I believe.
Yeah, and I think it's again kind of like Greystone with the different things. It's not just the skate park. There's the performance gig room, the cafe, the Vans Museum, and the cinema. By the way, that cinema looks so nice. It's all like beanbag chairs and stuff. Oh, it looks sick.
I mean, when all this nonsense blows over, it's not nonsense, is it? But when that is definitely a place that I do want to visit. As well as I've talked about Mount Hawk before. I've not been there either, but House of Vans is just one of those places where it looks like there's always good vibes there.
Yeah.
And that's what anyone wants, right? You go somewhere and you want to know that you're gonna have a good skate, a good ride.
And I think if you do get a bit bored of the not amount, because there's not a massive amount of variety. I mean, it's under a train station. It's understandable. If you get a bit bored of it, I believe equally under the train station, there's another skate park, isn't there? It's called Hop King, I think, or something. I've heard about.
Oh yeah.
Because that one's a bar that has a skate
Is that
park.
like? I've only just started hearing about this. Like I followed them on YouTube the other day, but that's it's quite a new place, right?
Yeah, they're quite new because they've got some big names being sponsored.
Yeah, they do.
Because they've just brought
Jamie
in
Griffin.
Yeah.
Alex Dacuna.
Yeah.
Ellie Frost. Eli Frost. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. But yeah, I mean, these guys are all crazy technical skaters.
Yeah.
And they've also got. That's why I started following them on YouTube, because they've also got a little YouTube platform there as well that you can watch, which I think is sick. To have that, to start bringing in that audience as well.
Yeah, no, the content they're bringing out of Hot King's quite nice.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
I found out about them through like John Hill. He's
John Hill.
Yeah, he's an American skater. He makes YouTube content.
Yeah.
And he owns Progress Daily, which is this brand. And they did a thing with Jamie Griffin, where he was talking about how he moved to London and stuff, and they were talking about Hop King, and that's how I found out about it. It's quite a nice park.
Right.
I'd love to visit.
I can't really stand that John Hill, but that's cool, man, that they linked up like that. I find it hard to watch American YouTubers, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah?
I find it very, again, you used the word before, like, gimmick. Sometimes when I'm listening to them, I feel like it's a bit of a gimmick. I like listening to the authentic ones, like some that I like. I like listening to some, just not all of them.
Yeah.
The ones that do all the vlogging and stuff like that, it sometimes puts me off. But there's some that do vlogging, and I'm just a very particular person. Sometimes they enjoy it, sometimes they don't. So we went off on a tangent then, I think, again. But yeah, House of Vans looks pretty sick, man. I'll give it an 8.
Okay.
Maybe a 7.
Yeah.
I'm very unsure about my scores now. They're all skate parks. I can't be mean. They're good places to go, skate parks. Better than a football stadium. So they can't have low scores, can they?
Well, we'll leave that there then. So I think that's quite an interesting list. I'd say it's fairly similar to Rob's. I think he voted Ramp City and Ramp 1 lower than you did. I think you were a bit more generous.
I'm a generous person towards skate parks because, like I said, skate parks are skate parks.
Yeah.
It's not a tennis court. It's not a cycling lane or whatever. It's a skate park. It's a very creative place to go. The more parks that are built, even if they are crummy and crap, it's still a skate park.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. So I can't be too mean about that.
Yeah. So, my next question. Come back next week to figure out what my question was. This episode was massive, so we ended up having to split it into 2 episodes. If you do want to find out what my next question was and hear the rest of the amazing episode, come back next week.